The Way Home. "It's beautiful," said the troubadour, hefting the weapon gently. "I wonder if it was a gift from the first Empress," he said wistfully. "There's no evidence of that," said Arian firmly, a fixed smile on her face. "Pity," said her visitor. "Still, it's an extraordinary piece. The actual spear wielded by Mfanwi at the Battle of Ashton Vale, fighting side by side with the first Empress. Incredible. Did she carry it her entire life?" "Almost certainly not," Arian responded, shaking her head to emphasize the point. "It was a winter night lifestealer once, and we know that was the weapon she favored. The enchantment is long gone, of course, but writing from the time strongly implies she received a new one every year from the artisan who made this, Gethin of Kuma's Edge." "Was he her brother or some other relation? A lover, perhaps?" Arian decided she couldn't take any more of this nonsense, reached out, plucked the spear from her guest's hands. "I rather doubt it," she said, turning to place the spear back on the display stand behind the bar. "I suspect Gethin's most heroic qualities may have been his total reliability and his excellent prices." Overview. At the winter solstice, the Navarre National Assembly upheld a judgment by Winifred Blackhawk with a greater majority that emphasised the importance of travelling the roads and trods of the Empire, being the Empire's strength and blood and soul, and most importantly of all, the way-houses. Those vital buildings that the Navarre raise along the trods to support the stridings that give them a place to rest and to resupply. In recent years, however, what was once a vital tradition has somewhat floundered. There are innumerable small way-houses across the Empire, but very few, if any, of their operators attend the great summits at Anvil. Such is the burden of keeping them running. While some larger establishments, such as the Tredgy Way House, have been built in recent years, they have generally been in the heartland of Navarre territories, not, in a sense, the truest expression of the way-house tradition. Now, there may be a chance to change that. Building way-houses. Buoyed with enthusiasm by Winifred's words, a number of groups within the nation are inspired to try and rejuvenate the way-house tradition. The key proposal is made by Elian Sweetwater, a well-recognised member of the civil service, who is often called on to carry out appraisals by the Imperial Senate. They combined this with a deep knowledge of history, having previously worked as a member of the Department of Historical Research. They have not been called on by the Senate for nearly a year, so they have been using that time to work on a proposal of their own, one that they hope will be to the interests of their fellow Navarre. Under normal conditions, it is not possible to build a national sinecure in a territory belonging to another nation, but Elian has produced a set of proposals that draw on some of the oldest traditions of the Navarre. The stridings travel across the Empire as they walk the trods, staying at way-houses where they can. Elian's idea involves building a large way-house which could incorporate all the facilities a striding would need. That would make it possible for the Navarre to commission a way-house and have the keeper of the way-house be a Navarre national appointment, no matter where that way-house was built. Elian's way-houses would have a number of advantages. Having a way-house in a territory would help to facilitate trade and make travel safer, providing a boost to the local economy. Once the way-house was complete, imperial taxation in the territory would increase by 8 crowns. In addition, a way-house is a place of social and economic meeting for the Navarre who would pass through the area. A large, substantial way-house like the one Elian proposes would act as a hub for the Navarre in the area, allowing them to trade their wares and make connections with the locals, overcoming the kinds of issues often encountered by those seeking to make inroads in unfamiliar territory. The presence of a commissioned way-house makes it possible for other Navarre to benefit from living there. We will assume they are dwelling near that way-house. Navarre characters would be able to take a personal resource in a territory with a way-house without suffering the normal penalty for being in a foreign nation. They would also gain the benefits of any great works in the territory. Normally, only members of a nation benefit from a great work in their own territories. In the season where a way-house was completed, there would be some enthusiasm to support any Navarre who wanted to live at the way-house, so any Navarre could take a new resource in the territory without the usual 2 crowns cost. The big drawback of such a move is that the Navarre living in the territory of another nation wouldn't be able to vote for a senator. Of course, Navarre already living in Liathaven and Broceliande, and more recently Tharunin, cannot vote for a senator either, but they have some hope that one day they may be able to. Making a community to help the citizens of another nation would mean those Navarre lose out politically with no way around that. The reason to do it would be an interest in the purpose of the way-house and a desire to support efforts to bring the Navarre closer to the people of that nation. If prominent Navarri citizens were living in a wayhouse and doing what they could to support that territory, the people who live there and the people passing through, it might help the Navarre strengthen their ties with that nation. Wayhouses couldn't be built everywhere. They could only be built in an imperial territory with a trod network, and they also cannot be commissioned in any region with the city quality. Small seeds, great forests. The wayhouses that are in Navarre territories are used by anyone travelling on the trods through that region, but for obvious reasons, most of those travellers are usually Navarri. A wayhouse built outside the nation would be a different prospect. It would see a more eclectic mix of visitors, with scores of Navarri mixing with the more local travellers. A well-situated wayhouse could benefit from this mixing. The inevitable conversations between Navarre visitors and others could produce unpredictable benefits. This wouldn't be predictable. There is no saying where or when a conversation between a Navarre and another imperial citizen might lead to something important. Possibility is still exciting to some. Mafanwi's Rest. Mafanwi's Rest in Necropolis is the most famous wayhouse in the Empire, but in modern times it has dwindled to a respectable but small hostelry. At the time of the founding of the Empire, it would have been much bigger. According to legend, this was once the home of Mafanwi, a companion of the first Empress. It is claimed that both women stopped here on their way to Anvil. Arian, the brand who currently operates the wayhouse here, has made it her life's ambition to restore the wayhouse to its former grandeur, but the challenges involved have defeated her. Now she would like to pass on the wayhouse to another Navarri, but she can't bear to do so knowing that her life's vision remains unfulfilled. She has asked the Navarre to consider completing the restoration of the wayhouse, arguing that its unique location and history give it special importance. Re-establishing Mafanwi's Rest would ensure a steady stream of highborn visitors to the site, particularly those who are interested in the life of the first Empress Anne Mafanwi, one of her most important companions who was instrumental in establishing the Empire. Every wayhouse is different, but Arian's plan includes a small library of historical texts and a building to house items that are shown to date to that time. Arian's unspoken hope is that this wayhouse could encourage the study of this vital period in the Empire's history about which so little is known. Who knows what insights a conversation between a Navarre historian and highborn archivists, benefactors, grey pilgrims and wayfarers might one day yield. Mafanwi's Rest is a wayhouse commission located in Fishguard, Necropolis. It would cost 16 wains of white granite and 40 crowns in labour costs. It would create the title Keeper of Mafanwi's Rest, a Navarri national appointment of any kind. It would provide an income of 10 doses of liao and 7 crowns. The title holder would have the responsibility to protect the wayhouse, promote the legacy of the legendary Navarri figures from imperial history. The Last Battle. The Last Battle Striding are a newly formed striding that have come together in the belief that the final battle against the Valorn will happen in their lifetime, if they push for it. They are almost exclusively Thorns, sworn warriors who are eager to engage the enemy and defeat them once and for all. Despite their desire to confront the Valorn, they have read everything published on the enemy, and they understand that the best way to trigger the ultimate confrontation is to link up all of the Valorn hearts with Trods, and that requires the Empire to fulfill its destiny, conquer the intervening lands. Thus, the Striding want to help the Empire expand their borders. They hope to see the construction of a wayhouse in a territory on the Empire's borders, a place where Thorns can mix with warriors and soldiers of other nations fresh from the fight against neighbouring barbarians. Crucially, the wayhouse they want would need to be in a region that bordered an enemy territory containing a Valorn heart, for example the Grey Fens in Brega's Land leading to the Liathavan, or the Plains of Teeth in the Barrens leading to the Sarengrave. Once the wayhouse is built, the Last Battle planned to use it as a base to conduct reconnaissance and patrols the other side of the border. These are Navarri Thorns. They are some of the finest scouts in the Empire, so there is no question that they'll be able to manage this. The intelligence they bring back would be crucial in establishing supply routes and the best lines of attack for any Imperial armies going over the border. It would mean that all neighbouring regions not controlled by the Empire would come under threat. The Last Battle is a wayhouse commission. It can be placed in any location with a region adjacent to an enemy territory that contains a Valorn heart. It would cost 18 wains of weirwood and 54 crowns of labour costs. It puts adjacent regions in the neighbouring territory under threat. It would create the title Keeper of the Last Battle, which would be a Navarri national appointment by the generals of Navarre. It would provide an income of 24 random herbs and the title holder would have the responsibilities to protect the Way House and encourage the expansion of the Empire's borders to trigger the last battle against the Valorn. The Primal Forest. The Scale and the Source are a group of Vates who are interested in the magical traditions and techniques of the Empire, who believe that a Way House could be more than just a meeting place for travellers. The group take their name from their study of blood magic and the music of the spheres. However, they are interested in all magical techniques, as well as different approaches to the magic employed across the Empire. They are asking the Navarre to found a Way House dedicated to welcoming practitioners of magical traditions outside the watchful ways of the Navarre nation. Of course, Urizen is an obvious choice, but there is no nation that doesn't study magic. The Kabbalists of Varushka might have secrets to share, allowing new bonds and alliances to be forged between the magicians of Varushka and the Vates of Navarre. And of course, Varushka has Skuld on its borders. Where better to also forge new links than with the warlocks of Otkadov and discuss the great matter of the Valorn? Or there are the Hekima of the Brass Coast, who understand the importance of a place to meet and talk in a relaxed environment. A Way House encouraging the exchange of magical learning could provide a crucial friendship in the struggles to come. The truth is, every nation has a unique approach to magic, not just the techniques but the attitudes that accompany it. Working closely with them, exchanging ideas and understanding could benefit both parties. What the Scale and the Source want is for the Vates that attend Anvil to select the one nation whose approach to magic shows the most promise. This need not be the nation whose traditions most closely align with the Navarre. Harmony can produce a beautiful song, but the crucible of disagreement can also forge new understandings. They want the Vates to help them found a new Way House, the Primal Forest, in a location where it can encourage magical study and the sharing of knowledge, techniques and approaches between the Navarre and the nation in question. To appoint the position, the Scale and Song suggest the best method would formally be unanimous decision of the Navarre senators, with the understanding that they should appoint whichever candidate the Vates attending Anvil decide is most suitable. The Primal Forest is a Way House commission. It may be located anywhere in Imperial territory. The cost would be 20 wains of weirwood and 60 crowns of labour costs. It would create the title the Keeper of the Primal Forest, which would be a Navarre national appointment, appointed by the Senators of Navarre. It would provide the title holder with an income of 5 doses of vernal balm, and would give them the responsibility to protect the Way House and encourage the study of novel approaches to spring magic.